Welcome to Live at the Waterhole. We have started over in Moela Lodge in Botswana. Looks like we have had a little bit of a kill here. Lots of vultures around. We were just talking about the other day how this area, lots of animals congregate. Zebra, wildebeest congregate in this area, possibly on their migratory route through Botswana as they search for greener pastures and water. And looks like, unfortunately, one of these individuals has been killed. Maybe there was a lion kill. Something has happened here. How exciting. So my name is Kerry Dupree and I will be your naturalist presenter for the afternoon. Just a reminder, folks, that this is a live and interactive experience, so feel free to send through those questions and comments. You can head over to X, use the hashtag @WildEarth, use the QR code on screen. There is a WhatsApp number which you can also send through your questions and comments. And if you are on the website, don't forget to register and let me know how your day is going. What snack do you have this afternoon? What would you like to see, or anything else you would like to comment for the day? I'd love to have you joining in the conversation. So on our director team in Johannesburg, we have Tadiwa, and on our tech side, we have MJ. So yeah, looks like we've got wildebeest. I just can see the vultures have moved out the way a little bit, and you can see a skull of a wildebeest. Oh, and wow, check at the right-hand side of the screen. There's a leopard-faced vulture. How epic. So these are mostly white-backed vultures, but we have one leopard-faced vulture just on the right-hand side of the screen. So if you have a look, he's a little bit bigger than these white-backed vultures, and maybe not from this angle, but he does have a bit of a red face. Quite a large guy, white underparts. So it is quite a massive vulture, these leopard-faced vultures, and also a bit more rare to actually see them. So a couple of days ago on Monday, this area was completely filled with so many zebra and wildebeest, you could hardly count them. Wow. And I'm suspecting that often what happens in this migration, you might have individuals that might get separated from the herd. Yesterday I remember hearing a lot of distress calls from wildebeest, so there could be maybe a sub-adult wildebeest or an individual that got separated from the herd. And seeing as we do have lions here, there's a chance that those lions could have made a kill. What a cool way to start the show. So I'm just getting a bit of an update on this kill here. So apparently this was a pregnant female wildebeest. Oh, just linked across to camelthorn. We've got a monitor lizard that is roaming around this watering hole. Apparently there was some lapwings attacking this monitor lizard. Monitor lizard is not a creature you want next to your nest because they can be quite aggressive. And also they like to eat eggs. So they primarily feed on eggs, birds' eggs, reptile eggs, crocodile eggs. They have quite a varied diet. So maybe the lapwings were trying to chase this monitor lizard away from his nest. So an update on that kill from Moela. Apparently this was a pregnant female wildebeest that might have been having some complications, as there was no wounds from predators or an attack. It was seen this morning. She had been in the process of possibly aborting a tiny little fetus, and she died last night. So very sad story about this female wildebeest that had some sort of pregnancy complications and was trying to abort her little wildebeest fetus. But again, one animal that dies is food to many other creatures, so it's provided some food to all these vultures that we've seen feeding on the carcass. So yeah, just a bit of an update on that kill at Moela. That is not too far from Camelthorne here. Shame. I think this monitor lizard's probably feeling quite sorry for himself because he was hoping to get a free meal, but I think his presence was picked up by those blacksmiths and they chased him off. We have a comment coming in from Deb Davis. Thank you for your comment, Deb. She is welcoming us from across the pond in Pennsylvania, USA. having a bit of a quiet moment there to enjoy the sounds of Africa. The African fish eagle is such an iconic sound of Africa. Yeah, sounded like a pair, like a duet call. So it could have been a male and female African fish eagle that were duet calling with each other. This monitor lizard is searching for his next meal. So as you can see, so it's a Nile monitor. You can see he's got that long tongue of his that he's sticking out of his mouth, trying to pick up any scent of any living creatures. They have quite a varied diet, these monitors. They do feed on quite a variety of different creatures, not just eggs, but they'll feed on small birds, small reptiles. If they find a defenseless small snake, they'll also feed on any small little reptiles. But any ground nesting birds, this monitor is your worst nightmare. You do not want a monitor lizard like this to come across your nest. So your spur fowl, guinea fowl, a monitor lizard like this could raid their nests and consume all their eggs. Right, let's head across to the hide in Zimbabwe, folks. We've got some activity there. Oh my goodness, so we're just witnessing a kill. So we've started off the show with quite a bang today, vultures and a kill at Moela, a monitor lizard trying to make a kill, and now we have a grey heron that looks like it has just caught itself a catfish for lunch. Looks like quite a large catfish. I think this heron, this grey heron, might have bitten off a bit too much to chew. I don't know how this heron is going to manage to swallow this catfish. This looks like quite a big one. He's still alive, and if this heron doesn't eat him quickly, he stands the chance of the catfish escaping back into the water, or something else coming and stealing his kill away from him. So if there's a fish eagle or any larger bird of prey in this area, they'll definitely try to steal this meal away from this heron. How cool is that? So we are in Zimbabwe at the moment. This is a small catfish, but we do get quite a lot of different fish species in Zimbabwe. Obviously very common tilapia, we get a lot of squeakers, three-spot, bream, bass, and famously known and also very closely related to the catfish is the vundu. So in the Zambezi and Lake Kariba, very famously known for vundu fishing. And these are gigantic catfish that I think some of the record weights have been up to 22 kilograms, 22, 23 kilograms. Massive fish that, almost the same size as the fishermen catching those fish. Incredible, massive fish. So Nick Leopard is sending through a comment about this catfish. Yes, that does look like quite a delicious meal, Nick. I'm not a very big fan of catfish, I must say. I do know if you do catch these barbel or catfish, the best way, because they're very dirty fish, they are like mud suckers, spend a lot of time in the in the depths of water, very deep muddy areas. So the best way to clean them is if you do catch a catfish and you want to cook it, you can either put it in your swimming pool for about 24 to 48 hours or a clean bath of water to help filter out that very muddy, murky water from their bodies. That can definitely help, because the taste of these fish is not the best. No, they make very good pickles. You can make a very good pickled fish from catfish, as well as a very delicious stew. Otherwise, I think it's quite a lot of work and effort to prepare this fish in a delicious way. So, but I'm sure this heron is very chuffed with himself that he's caught a nice big catfish for lunch, but I don't think he's quite figured out how on earth is he going to swallow this giant fish.
My name is Amy, and today we're going to be doing things a little bit differently.
Earth Impact Foundation is a non-profit that uses the power of wildlife storytelling as a force for good. We create sustainable development projects that showcase conservation stories, empower people, and inspire environmental action. As a registered South African PBO, you can make a tax-deductible donation to the Wild Earth Impact Foundation. To find out more, visit our website.
Chidzana na tsima ra ntumbuluko Dlovukazi ya xitsundzuxo hosi ya rhumela.
How cool is this?
Herons have acid in their stomachs to help digest their food, just like vultures. So yes, Fred, I wouldn't say the acid that herons have in their stomach, it's not as strong as the acid that you would find in vultures' stomachs, because vultures can digest very toxic decomposing, decaying flesh. Herons mostly feed on live bait, so herons, their diet will mostly be primarily fish based, and that's how these herons will feed. But yes, they do have a little bit of acid in their stomach because they'll swallow their prey whole, and they need to digest all those bones, skin and tissue. They don't like us, we like to just eat the meat of fish, not necessarily eat the whole carcass, whereas this heron will swallow this fish whole. He's got a game plan here. I hope our heron's game plan works. So these herons are generally quite conspicuous in wetland, watery areas. That's their primary habitat. They like marshy areas or tidal flats, small ponds, ditches or wet fields. It's generally where you can find them. They do nest in colonies in trees, and I played the call earlier. When they're nesting, it's quite loud. They're all vocalizing and calling together, so it's not the kindest thing on your ears when you have a colony of herons nesting together. Generally, herons will all nest together, so you'll have cattle egrets, grey herons, black-headed herons. They'll all nest together in big colonies. They do make quite a raucous. Hoping he's going to break this fish up in some way in order to swallow it down his very small throat. When I think of herons feeding, I always think of a heron that catches a frog that's too big for its throat. I'm sure you've watched a lot of kids' cartoons where as the frog's going down the heron's throat, he blocks himself from going down the throat. So often herons will catch frogs, so these herons do like to eat frogs, and it can be quite tricky to also get those frogs down. Whoa, that is a very big fish. Come on. No, how this heron is gonna... Oh, we've still got some pelicans, folks. Have a look. Our pelicans are still around. How epic is that? So these are the great white pelicans that we have here. So they're still obviously hanging around at Safari, in Wangi. They'll probably be flying between the Hyde and Wangi Safari Lodge. I wonder if there's going to be a fight for this fish here. Maybe the pelicans are going to try and steal this catfish away from the grey heron. He's very proud of his kill, this heron, but yeah, very unusual. We have a question from Crafty Bill. So Crafty Bill is asking what the heron's main predators in this lovely lake would be. So this location is the hide. So it is in Wangi National Park. It is a small pan just in front of the lodge, and there wouldn't be too many predators for this heron in this area. Obviously, herons do need to be very careful of big birds of prey like fish eagles. I've seen African fish eagles catching smaller herons quite often, so any bigger birds of prey would be a predator for this heron. But yeah, it's quite a small pan that is here, so not too many predators for this heron. And as these water levels are dwindling, it is the dry season at the moment in a lot of countries in southern Africa, that is a perfect time for these herons to take advantage of these shallow muddy waters and to catch a nice big catfish, just like this heron has managed to capture. It almost looks like he's doing a bit of a prancing display. He's showing off his impressive kill. He needs to be careful. If there's any other big birds of prey around, they might come and steal this meal away from this heron. Quite an unusual sighting, I must say. I've seen hummerkops. I've spent a lot of time watching hummerkops. You do see them with their kills and they flash around that frog of theirs. So you see the heron keeps taking this fish up to the dry land, hoping to swallow it, but I guess it gets too sandy and difficult to maneuver. So he'll bring it down to the water, clean it off a little bit, hoping that it will be slippery enough to slip down his throat. I feel like this heron would be like if you were at a restaurant and you ordered a 1 kilogram steak and you were not given utensils and you couldn't use your hands and you had to somehow try to swallow this giant steak without any utensils or without using your hand. Imagine how hard that is. Poor guy. I think it's going to keep this heron busy for quite some time today. Alrighty folks, I think this heron has got his beak full for a while, so I don't know if there's going to be too much more activity here. We'll keep an eye on him. Why don't we head back across to Camelthorn and see what's happening with those hippos. Oh, what a cool view or scene this is here. So first thing that caught my attention is our hippo crocodile cave on the left hand side. Obviously we've got our hippos out of the water, which is always lovely to see, and lots of crocodiles. I hope this hippo doesn't step on that crocodile. So there's actually a crocodile in between this pod of hippo, and there's a few small little crocodiles at the water's edge. There is also a carcass of some animal here as well. We've seen these bones have been around for a long time, so it's not a fresh kill. Certainly a kill that's been around for a while. And yeah, lots of hippos here at Camelthorn over in Botswana. Definitely a very healthy hippo population. I think these soils must be quite mineral rich, because you see the hippos spend a lot of time in the sand and soil, a lot of time with their noses in the sand. There's not too much grass here, so maybe they are practicing geophagia, feeding on some of the soil and sand. You can see this hippo just closest to us. You can see his very brush-like tail. Hippos are having a very happy conversation somewhere. So have a look, this hippo is very close to this crocodile. So you can see they're almost at a bit of a standoff. I think the hippos kind of side on to the crocodile and they are staring at each other very intensely. So if you look at this big hippo just to the left or underneath his jaw, you can see the bottom jaw of the crocodile. Maybe we'll have a hippo and crocodile fight. So we had an interesting question the other day about hippos, and do hippos practice geophagia? Do they feed osteophagia? Do they feed on bones? So hippos are mostly herbivores, so they mostly feed on grass. Oop, a little baby hippo fight. But occasionally hippos can be seen feeding on bones. So the practice of feeding on bones is known as osteophagia. Feeding on soil is known as geophagia. And this is obviously to fulfill the calcium requirements. What's going to happen here? Look how close these hippos are to this crocodile. Not phased at all. I think this crocodile is thinking he's just going to lie as still as possible and let these hippos walk around him. But if I was this crocodile, I would be a little bit nervous, because we wouldn't want to be stepped on by a hippo. What an unusual sighting. You can see the crocodile's got his mouth up, so he's definitely cautious, and the hippos are sniffing him and giving a bit of a smell. So big hippo. No, I think this crocodile, he's done with this nonsense. He's like, I'm not going to lie here and wait for a hippo that can weigh up to 1,500, 1,800 kilograms to accidentally step on me. This crocodile's not having this. What an unusual interaction. The whole pod of hippo had completely surrounded this crocodile. They were inspecting him and sniffing him. They were very curious. So Vicky is asking a question about, would a crocodile be able to digest a hippo? So Vicky, yes, crocodiles do feed on hippos, but it would mostly be hippos that have already died, possibly from natural causes, or big male hippos do get into fights quite often with each other, and if there's a carcass there, crocodile will definitely take a chance to go and feed on the hippo. But what often happens with these very thick-skinned mammals, with like hippo, buffalo and elephant, if they for some reason happen to be dead in the water, it is very difficult for crocodiles, even lions, to get into that carcass. So I've seen one day in Wangi National Park, actually, there was a dead hippo at inside a watering hole. It was a dry season. It's very common for lots of elephants to die in southern Africa in the dry season. I think he was an old elephant as well. So he was actually dead inside the middle of a watering hole, and there was about 11 lions all around this watering hole waiting for the water level to drop enough so that they could get on top of this elephant and start feeding on the dead elephant in the watering hole. It's the elephant, hippo, buffalo, very thick skin, so it's very difficult for them to get in. So the lions, crocodiles, they'll all have the same method. They'll always try to go in for the very soft, fleshy parts of these thick-skinned animals, which would be the rump and maybe under the chin. Alright, well, we're going to leave our crocodile friend to enjoy his sun basking. Let's head back across to our black eagle chick and see what they are up to today. Alright, so I saw a bit of an update of this chick from early this morning, I think it was, on the Africam Instagram page. It was actually, the chick was starting to flap its wings, getting a bit of exercise. So I guess our black eagle chick is already starting to exercise a bit, starting to strengthen those little wings of it, even though it is quite a little chick. Yesterday I was very shocked at how much food that black eagle chick fed on. So these black eagles, 90% of their diet consists of hyrax. Ooh, looks like there's actually a kill right here. Oh, looks like it could be more hyrax. So I would hate to know how many little hyrax bodies have been brought to this nest. So yesterday this chick was being fed so much food. I was very surprised at how much food this little black eagle chick can eat. My goodness gracious me. So viewer discretion is advised, folks. I think there is a dead little hyrax in this nest. So if you have a sensitive stomach or you don't like seeing dead creatures being eaten, maybe now's time to go and make a nice cup of tea or a cup of coffee, because I think either this black eagle is going to enjoy its lunch or might be feeding the little chick. What a lovely sighting. So we've been commenting the last couple of days what an incredible view this little black eagle chick has, and as the parent looks like it was about to start feeding, the chick is enjoying this view from this amazing cliff. So incredible how these black eagles managed to construct these massive nests measuring up to a few meters, about 1.5 meters deep, and can be about 1 meter wide. They make these big nests on the edge of the cliffs here. So incredible construction skills that they have to build these nests, and they will use them a few years in a row. So sometimes they can use them up to 5 or 6 years in a row, because black eagles do have quite a long lifespan. These black eagles can live up to 30-40 years old. So they will be territorial in the area where they have their nest, and they will reuse that nest from one year to the next. Oh, looks like the chick is having a little nap. So with large birds of prey, just like these black eagles, it can take quite a few years for them to sexually mature and grow into their full adult colors. Some smaller birds of prey can take a few years. Bigger birds of prey might take up to 5 to 7 years. I know fish eagles, martial eagles, crowned eagles, they take around 5 to 7 years to fully mature into their full adult colors. They are monogamous birds, so they will breed for life, and very attentive parents while taking care of their little chick. Doesn't look like too much of a windy day. I know they've been very attentive the parents have been putting as much vegetation around this nest as possible, trying to prevent too much wind from disturbing this chick on the nest. But I think the chick has probably already had its lunch and looks like it's ready to have a little bit of a cat nap. So we have a question here from Faye. Faye is asking, do eagles leave their babies for long periods of time to go look for food? So good question, Faye. So Faye, the male and female black eagle, or the new name is Varro's eagle, will co-parent. So they will co-parent in that they're never too far from the nest while they're hunting and feeding, and they will all alternate in checking up on the nest and taking food to the chick. So especially when they have the egg, it's so important that that egg doesn't get too hot, too warm, or too cold. So sometimes if the sun is shining directly on the nest, the egg can actually overheat, or the chick can even overheat. So that's why it's so important to make sure that they pick the right spot for their nest, because if there's too much sunshine on that nest or too much wind on the nest, it could very quickly kill their chick. So a lot comes into play when picking a nesting spot, and I guess it's exactly the same with humans too. When you go house shopping, you're always looking for exact right spot for your house. Alrighty folks, why don't we head across to Oldonyo and see what's happening in Kenya. Alrighty, so it looks like we've got two very big elephant bulls here We did have a really awesome sighting here yesterday of a lizard buzzard in Aldonio. And unfortunately, I think the lizard buzzard was on a kill. So I was chatting to Tadiwa at the beginning of the show, and I told her that I really hope that the lizard buzzard has not eaten our little lizard that normally hangs out on the logs just at the bottom of the screen here. So we decided we're going to name our little lizard while we keep an eye out for him. We hope he wasn't eaten, but yeah, we're going to put a poll up, or I'd love the viewers to send through your comments on what is the name that they would like to name our little lizard. So my name suggestion for our lizard was the Ogama. I thought that was quite a cool name for our little lizard. I mean, he was a very, very confident, proud little lizard. I loved his colors. He definitely, yeah, he makes quite an impression on you, that little lizard. So our Ogama that was hanging out at the bottom of our screen here, you often saw him on the log. I would love to know what name suggestions you would like to give him. We'll get some name suggestions in and then do a bit of a poll and see what everyone decides. In the meantime, when we do come over here, we will keep a lookout for that little Ogama. Where is he? Yeah, you see, he normally hung out on this log here, so I'm really praying he did not get eaten by that lizard buzzard yesterday. But obviously lizard buzzards, they do feed mostly on small reptiles, rodents and small birds. So please send through your name suggestions for our little Ogama that likes to hang out on the logs here, and then we'll do a poll and see what we should call this guy. So this was one of his favorite spots here next to this round hole in the log. Perfect place to hang out in the sunshine and also have a very quick emergency escape exit. So keep searching for him while we wait for those name suggestions to come in. Where is this little guy? They blend in so well to the logs too, so really keep an eye out for them. Lovely to listen to these elephants having a good drink. There's been lots of zebra that have also been around at this watering hole. We had an oryx yesterday that was not too fond of the wind, so lots of very heavy winds yesterday over in Aldonio. We had a pretty cool encounter earlier this week or a couple of days ago of One Ton was here, and he had a bit of an altercation with some younger elephant bulls. I think someone was not obeying the chain of command or being very respectful, like a bit of a bar fight. One Ton decided that he needed to put some of the younger elephant bulls in their place. So yeah, a little bit of a altercation there with a big male elephant tusker, One Ton. So we've got some name suggestions coming in here for our little Ogama lizard that we are searching for from Nick Leopards. He would like to call the lizard Max Sweets. Ian McSweets. So interesting name suggestion there. We will keep that name suggestion in mind, Nick. My name suggestion is the Ogama. We're waiting for our FCT. Maybe they'll send through some name suggestions as well. Zebra are looking very healthy. Nice to see such large herds or harems of zebra coming through. It'd be nice to see our secretary bird. We haven't seen secretary birds here for quite some time. This is quite a small waterhole. Not too much space for too many animals to come down and drink. Let's just have a bit of a quiet moment. We'll just watch and listen to these zebra as they come down for a drink. And I think we can hear that grey Lowry calling. is the white-bellied grey, or white-bellied go-away bird. That's vocalizing at the moment. We'll just have a bit of a quiet moment, see if we can hear him still calling. Look, these elephant balls aren't too happy to share the watering on. I'm going to play this white-bellied go-away bird call for you. So it's quite an unusual go-away bird, or grey tarako, with a long tail, towering crest, and very prominent white markings on their side and tail. They do seem quite floppy in flight. They do have very typical go-away bird tarako flight behavior. I mean, I've never seen them at this watering hole, but Julian Thomas yesterday confirmed for us that this was the call. Very good, one of our viewers and a very good birder, so I will take his word for it. I'd love to see it hanging around here. These acacias look like a perfect habitat for them to sit on. They're often in these open acacia areas. They do have quite a variety of diet and also habitats. So yeah. Oh wow, check all these zebra coming in. Zebra have to be quite careful of these elephants. The elephant can be quite temperamental at a watering hole. They don't always want to share. Alright, so I think we've got enough name suggestions to do a poll. So we have a couple of name suggestions. How many? 1, 2, 3. We've got 4 name suggestions, or 5 including mine. So I think we're going to do a poll of our name suggestions. So we've got one name for our little lizard friend is Ian McSweets. Our second name suggestion is Stuart the lizard. We've got Percy the lizard. I like Percy. The other name suggestion is Handsome Leonard. And my name suggestion is the Ogama. So I think we're going to put a poll up and run these names and see what everyone suggests we should call our little Agama lizard that you can often see at the base of the screen here. Just hope he wasn't killed yesterday by our lizard buzzard. Always lovely to see a lizard buzzard, but I hope he hasn't eaten one of our little lizard friends. So head across to our poll on Twitter and vote for which name you think we should call our little Agama. Just closing my eyes and having a quiet moment to just listen to the sound of these elephants drinking. The zebra coming down. Oop. Someone almost got a hoof to the head. So zebra are quite aggressive. I'd hate to be kicked in the face by a zebra. Definitely cause quite a lot of damage. So lions do need to be very careful when hunting zebra. If you get bitten or kicked by a zebra, can cause quite a bit of damage, and as a predator you do not want to have any injuries because it could inhibit the ability for you to be able to hunt. So we are putting up our lizard or Agama poll, folks, so you can go across and vote in a few minutes and see what name our little Agama has received. Ooh, we've got another visitor to the watering hole. Look at the zebra, giraffe, and the female giraffe has come down hoping to get a drink from the watering hole. But with all these feisty zebra around and the very large elephants hogging the watering hole, I don't think this giraffe is going to get a drink anytime soon.
Join me, Andrew Wistenholm, for an indescribable 6-night stay in the beautiful Albany of the Eastern Cape at Amakhala Game Reserve. Now, this trip is going to be action-packed with a lot of storytelling, adventure, as well as the opportunity to make everlasting memories. We'll be exploring the best of Amakhala by staying at 2 luxury lodges, which will be the perfect blend of comfort as well as wilderness. Book your spot today and let's get ready to explore the wild beauty of Amakhala.
My full name is Mpho Tikani. Best part of my job is coming to see nature. Worst part of my job is logging. That's the worst thing ever, because you have to log amount of footage. You sit in front of that computer and yeah, you think of deleting the footage, but no, they need the footage. If I want a camel, probably a soccer player. I know some people don't believe me, but I'm very good, I'm very fast.
Step into the heart of Africa from the comfort of your home.
Female leopard tracks over here.
Join our expert guides for a live 3-hour safari where every moment is real, unscripted, and unforgettable. Ask questions,
Animals rely on their senses.
share your thoughts, and be part of the experience as we explore together. Safari Live. Are you ready for the adventure of a lifetime? Wild Earth Travel's newsletter is your passport to a magical journey. Explore exclusive travel options featuring special offers at stunning Wild Earth locations and all hosted by your favorite presenters. Don't miss out. Head over to our website and subscribe to the Wild Earth Travel newsletter today and stay in the know on all our unforgettable adventures. Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive.
Dry winter days, there's lots of haze, lots of clouds covering. Not seeing any mountains in the background here. It's actually very rare that I've seen mountains from Oldonyo. I think it's just the climate, the weather, and often the clouds. Like the other day we had a very windy day here in Oldonyo. You couldn't see any sky, so yeah, it's very difficult to see the mountains from this location, but yeah, every now and then we can see the mountains popping through on the other side of the acacia trees there, just opposite this watering hole. Oh, we've got more giraffe that have just showed up to the party. Shame these giraffe will have to very patiently wait for their chance to drink at the waterhole. It's quite a busy place here at the moment. So what makes this migration of zebras so special, it's not like the Mara, but you do see these large herds of hundreds of zebra watering hole. Alright folks, why don't we head back across to Mawela in Botswana and see what activity is there. Oh my goodness, have a look at all these zebra folks. So I'm trying to figure out where I think our wildebeest kill was just off to the left. We had a wildebeest. We started the show with a wildebeest. Shame, a female wildebeest that maybe had some complications in a pregnancy that died in the night, that was being fed on by some vultures. So if you're just joining us, that's how we started our show today. I think it was just off to the left here, but there were barely any zebra. They're obviously all moving through. We were talking about migrations, migratory routes, and these huge zebra and wildebeest migrations that move through different countries in Africa, following water sources and grazing areas. So at first I thought that our wildebeest was possibly an individual separated. You do get individuals like within big migration herds that might even be trampled or separated from the rest of their family, and this does make them very vulnerable to being killed by predators. So yeah, I'd like to take a guess at how many zebra are here, but they keep moving, so it's quite difficult to count them, but there must be easily close to 100 zebra here. Check at all of these zebras, and it's incredible to see such a large gathering of wildlife. So there's no crocodiles in this small watering hole, otherwise I don't think these zebra would be so keen on going so far and deep into the water. But the other predators they might come across in this area in Botswana, obviously lions, hyena, and maybe some wild dogs. Looks like we do have, is that a large bird of prey flying up ahead? So if we were sitting in the hide right now with our binoculars, we would be able to use our binoculars and identify that large bird of prey flying up in the sky, but probably could be one of those white-backed vultures. So we did have a lapid-faced vulture also. That was at the kill this morning, so pretty awesome to see that lapid-faced vulture. Oops, sorry folks, I think we have had some signal difficulties with our camera there in Moella. So we've just linked across to Jackie's pan in the Sabi Sands. And looks like we have a very happy little wagtail, a pied wagtail. I don't know if we have any viewers today that have ever seen a mountain wagtail. So obviously the common wagtails, you get the Cape wagtail, pied wagtail, I think there's a citrine wagtail and a mountain wagtail. Mountain wagtail is one of my recent bird lifers from last year. Very excited to get a new bird lifer. I don't know if there was a bird just off to the right. It could have been a little water thickney of some sort. And looks like we have a little terrapin that is lying on the edge of the bank here, maybe getting some sunshine. It's quite a busy watering hole, this little pan here in Jackie's pan. You can see lots of activity of animals coming down to drink. A lot of trampled vegetation by the elephants. This would also be a great spot for those herons to make a kill. So we started off our show also today with a kill. So yeah, unfortunately, lots of death at the moment. Yeah, we had our wildebeest kill, and then of course we had our grey heron over at the hide in Wangi National Park, Zimbabwe. We had a grey heron that had killed a massive for the heron, little catfish. Is really struggling to consume that catfish. Maybe we'll go and check in with that heron at the hide later and see if he's somehow managed to swallow his lunch. Alrighty folks, why don't we head across to El Doño to see what activity we have there. Alrighty, so we're back at El Doño. We had lots of zebra in at this pan earlier. I'm glad the giraffe have managed to sneak their way in. Maybe they'll get a drink at some stage. We've also come across here to look out for our little agama friend that normally we see on these logs in front of the camera here. I think our poll results might also be coming in soon. So we were trying to name our little Agama friend that I suspected might have been eaten by a lizard buzzard yesterday, but I'm praying very hard that he is still with us and roaming around somewhere. Dry season can be quite a harsh place in Africa. Lots of death and lots of killing, but yeah, the world, every circle of life does need to rotate in order for every animal does need to eat as well. Oh, looks like we've got a pregnant giraffe here. Oh, shame girl, be careful. Okay, so it looks like we've got our poll results in, and coming in at number 1 with 56% of your votes is the Obama Ugama. Number 2 was Stuart and at 38%, and Handsome Leonard was at 6%. So thank you for all voting for this incredible little Agama that we are still trying to find. So if we do find him, he now has a name, the Obama Agama. I'm still not seeing him. I hope that he wasn't eaten by the lizard buzzard yesterday, but again, it was a lovely sighting to see a lizard buzzard. We don't see them very often on Live at the Waterhole, so very grateful that we had that sighting yesterday. So special to be able to watch a giraffe having a drink. This is a female giraffe, and she looks rather pregnant. So gestation period for a giraffe is about 15 months. Looks like there's 2 female giraffe here. When giraffe give birth, it's a very harsh life, or very harsh welcome to the world for a baby giraffe, because female giraffe do give birth standing up, so that baby giraffe plunges into life, and when he hits the ground, that impact does help to give him his first breath. Oh, it's a zebra are fighting. Check this, one zebra has grabbed the other zebra's leg. Oh, wow, wow, wow. Quite nasty. That's how the zebra can get quite nasty injuries like that when fighting with each other. Males are quite nasty. He actually had grabbed this other zebra's leg with his mouth. Here is our little Agama. So little Agama used to hang out here on the logs, and occasionally you'd see him making a kill. So Agamas and lizards will feed on small little insects, grasshoppers, any little creepy crawly creatures that are big enough to be swallowed by these little Agamas. Makes for a great lunch, little snack. So a lot of contact calls, a lot of distress calls by the zebra. As I mentioned, when these animals are migrating in huge herds, they can often get kind of a bit disorientated and maybe lose their harem, losing individuals or getting all muddled up. It's not surprising when you see the numbers that they can be in. So yeah, it sounds like a bit of a contact call, zebra contact call that we're hearing here. So Faye is asking a question. Are elephants territorial around small water holes when there are other animals around? So Faye, good question. So elephants aren't necessarily territorial over water holes. They are just bossy. They're just, they're a bit inconsiderate, should I say, of other species around watering holes. So these elephants have been pretty happy to have the zebra coming to feed, but I've often seen elephants at this watering hole. They chase other species away, especially if there's not enough water. So that does happen quite often with elephants. They do like to hog watering holes. Oh, check out these zebra. We have another question coming in here from Paula. So Paula's commenting that they are hoping that our lizard pops up. I am very much hoping that our lizard does pop up as well, Paula. We will keep our fingers crossed. Melinda has sent through a comment as well. Can the drop from a mum's belly be deadly for a giraffe at birth? So Melinda, yes, this drop can be quite deadly for a giraffe. Sometimes the umbilical cord might get wrapped around the giraffe's neck, which can suffocate the little baby giraffe. And also, luckily, baby giraffe do, like most baby creatures and humans, have very soft bones. So they don't break any bones when falling, generally. But yeah, the fall can be quite fatal. And also, as with all antelope and prey species, giving birth can make a giraffe very vulnerable. So if hyena, for example, lion or jackal do pick up that a giraffe is giving birth, if she's on her own, she's very vulnerable to predators possibly stealing her little baby giraffe that she's just given birth to. So it is quite a harsh world out there. You do have to overcome a lot of elements in order to fully mature and survive to become a fully grown adult giraffe or zebra or any creature. There's lots of elements out there trying to kill you, eat you. Yeah. I don't know if any of our viewers have watched the documentary that's just come out by The Underdogs, narrated by Ryan Reynolds. I find it's an incredible documentary. I had an absolute great time watching this documentary. So it's called The Underdogs. I think you can find it on Disney Plus. And yeah, again, we always focus on the big five and all the big mammals, the beautiful the creatures, all the flashy antelope. But yeah, it was great to take a few moments to watch and follow the underdogs and see the challenges that they face in their lives. So if you're looking for a great documentary to watch, I would definitely recommend watching The Underdogs, narrated by Ryan Reynolds. He definitely brought a bit of a Deadpool vibe to the documentary and lots of humor. So yeah, great information and nice stories to follow there. Shame these poor giraffe just want to come in for a drink, but they're a bit nervous, giraffe, when they come down to a watering hole to drink. I would also be nervous with temperamental elephant bulls that you never know what they're going to do. Shame these females are desperate for a drink, but So a little bit too much activity here for them. So they'll patiently wait their turn, wait for an opportunity to drink safely. So regarding the migratory route of the zebra, after they have migrated through during the dry season, so some of these zebra will return after they have migrated for the dry season. They'll actually return through Amboseli for the long dry season, which generally begins June to October. So yeah, again, very dry, so they need to make some seasonal movements in order to find water and lots of food to eat. But again, it will depend on these conditions and food. So yeah, huge distances that the zebra and wildebeest can cross in order to find proper grazing areas. Isn't this a lovely scene? We've got two big elephant bulls, some zebra, and a poor thirsty female giraffe that just wants to have a drink, but I feel like she doesn't 100% trust what's happening around her. I don't think I would trust these zebra or elephants either. But she seems quite thirsty, poor girl. I think it's the best bet she just patiently waits for her turn to come and drink when there's not so much commotion. I'm just hoping our little lizard, our Obama Ogama, will pop its head out on this log, say hello to us. Oh, I can see something. There's something moving at the bottom of the screen here. I don't know if it's our lizard. It is a lizard, little Ogama. I don't know if it's the one I was thinking, but we've definitely got a little lizard that's moving at the bottom of this log here. Hello, little guy. Show us yourself. We also saw some white-browed sparrow weavers the other day. I've just heard them vocalizing. So these acacia trees around this pan are a perfect place for white-browed sparrow weavers to make their nests. I must say the sparrow weavers don't have the nicest nests. Yeah, so white-browed sparrow weavers have quite scruffy nests, I must say. They often just look like a little ball of grass that someone's just collected with their hands and placed up in the tree and somehow stays together. Who knows how? But yeah, you get a lot of intricate weaver nests. White-browed sparrow weavers will probably get a 0.05 out of 5 for their nest. A lot of other birds like the red-headed weaver will probably get a 5 out of 5 for their very intricate woven nests. And then you have your masked weavers that are also very detailed and intricate in the way that they weave their nests. But yeah, white-browed sparrow weavers, they're not very creative with their nests at all. But somehow manages to harbor their little chicks during the breeding season and provides protection from them from the elephant elements at night and from predators. Alrighty folks, why don't we head back across to Botswana and see what's happening at Mawela. Alrighty, so we can actually see the kill from here, folks. So just on the far left of the screen, you can see a very well-used path, a sandy path, and there is our dead wildebeest just off to the left. So if you're just joining us, unfortunately this wildebeest, she died last night. I think maybe some extreme conditions or some stress caused her to have start having an abortion. So this does happen with wild animals quite often. I've seen it or heard about it happening with lions too. In any case of stress, if there's not enough food, not enough water, or the environment might be extremely stressful for them, any outside factors, they can have an abortion. And yeah, so unfortunately this wildebeest, she did pass away last night. I know it is quite sad, but does provide a great meal for these white-backed vultures. We'll try and zoom in there just now and yeah, see if we can see that lappet-faced vulture. So white-backed vultures are very common, but to see a lappet-faced vulture is pretty cool. I don't think I've seen one at the Safari Lodge vulture feeding in Victoria Falls yet. Again, we've seen lots of white-backed and hooded, lappet-faced and white-backed vultures, but never a lappet-faced vulture. So have a look at these white-backed vultures. They're all taking off now, probably trying to catch a wind, trying to catch a thermal. Oh, check at the vultures, they're all taking off. Zebras seem to have been frightened by something. A couple of wildebeest in there, and we had a monitor lizard roaming around the edge of this watering hole a couple of days ago. I wonder if he is still around, or he might have made his way to Camelthorn. Other pan just around the corner from here. So apparently Moella and Camelthorn are not too far away from each other. Sometimes you can hear the fish eagle calling at both locations as well. Alrighty folks, we are going to head across to the hide and see if our grey heron still has his kill. Alright, so we started off the show today with this grey heron that had bitten off a little bit more than what he can chew. He had captured a very large catfish or barbel, and trying to decide whether he has swallowed this catfish. So I think this is just a shadow here. I'm not seeing any catfish close by, so it was quite a big catfish. He was really struggling to get that catfish down his throat there. I'm not seeing any catfish around, so maybe don't know if he won that battle, and if he did manage to swallow that catfish, that would have been quite an impressive meal for quite a few days. I think it would have kept him full, kept him well sustained. It's a very beautiful grey heron. Looks like he could be in breeding plumage. I do love those stripes down the front of his throat here. We were talking about the habitat of these herons earlier. They're often associated with water, so I find they do hang out in, so they're common residents, so they will hang out in one area for quite some time. Their plumage is mostly grey overall, but they do have quite a lot of black colours on them, as well as a black eyebrow stripe, and they've got that very long, wispy little tail or crown, fluffy crown feathers at the back of their head there. I'm not sure if there's any particular purpose for that, but yeah, they're very cunning fishermen, so they do very well catching fish, crustaceans, frogs. They do like their frogs. Trying to get a good focus on his eyes there, because they've got some very interesting eyes. So have a look at those eyes of the heron. It's got yellow with a black dot. looking out for any birds of prey. Looks like quite a windy day here in the hide, so I've spent quite a lot of time guiding in Wangi National Park, and I'll tell you the winter days in Wangi can be rather chilly. Obviously mostly done horseback safaris in Wangi National Park, and yeah, you'll need to have some warm clothes because it gets quite cold. So one of the coldest temperatures ever recorded in Wangi in Zimbabwe was actually in Wangi National Park in the Det Flay, minus 15 degrees. So it does get quite cold in the winter. I'd say on average your winter days in Wangi National Park will be lows of, I think they have been in Wangi when there's been lows of minus 5 degrees, so minus 4, minus 5 degrees. And then during the day, if you're lucky, it might get up to 18 to 21 degrees on a warm winter's day. But otherwise, quite cold weather, lots of wind. So you can see this herons definitely being blown a little bit in the wind. So Paula is guessing that this heron has swallowed his lunch. We're not too sure if this heron did actually manage to get that giant catfish down his throat. It was quite a big catfish, so I would not be surprised if he struggled to swallow it. We have another comment from Vivette Rienman. Says that she loves the colors of these herons. So yes, incredible colors of this heron, especially so a lot of the herons will change colors during the breeding season. So very cool to see all their different breeding plumage. So Julian Thomas, thanks for your comment. Julian has commented, always entertaining watching a heron dealing with a big fish, eels in particular. Oh, Julian, I haven't watched a heron try to eat an eel, but that must be quite entertaining. So I'm not seeing any evidence of
My name is Amy, and today we're going to be doing things a little bit differently.
Even a hyena coming into the action as well now. Oh my word! She's stalking the hyena now. Leopard, hyena, lion, all together in one shot. Oh. Whoa. This is action-packed.
My name is Takudzwa Panda Msesani. My scariest moment is when it happened twice. The other time I was with Cedric and the other time I was with Steve. And all those times it was a black mamba. My favorite meal in camp is gonna be burger and chips.
Quite a strange call that these pelicans make. It's almost like a water honking sound, or a hungry buffalo grunting away. So these pelicans are quite large white water birds. They do have quite a hefty bill and a yellow-orange throat pouch. There is quite a bit of noticeable pink skin that these pelicans have on their faces and around their eyes that does extend it down to their bills, which makes quite a beautiful photo. So yeah, very interesting colors on their face. So young birds do take quite some time to sexually mature. They're mostly a drab brownish color all over, and then yeah, they do have pink legs, these pelicans too. So quite an interesting looking bird. So you can often see these pelicans fishing, as we mentioned, cooperatively, so in a big group all together. They swim in a wide arc, in a rounded wide arc shape up to the fish, and then scoop them into those throat pouches. We saw a pelican on Monday that had caught a giant fish in his throat pouch and was also struggling to swallow this fish, just like our heron. Wildlife Lady, thank you for your comment. It is lovely to see these pelicans feeding, and I thought it was quite an unusual sighting when I saw my first pelican in Zimbabwe, but you do get pelicans along the Zambezi River as well. Yeah, it's definitely the seasonal movements. They do move through these areas and they can be seen quite often. So Karen, they are quite unusual birds. They do remind you of jumbo jets. So yes, it's quite a good comparison there, Karen. Thank you for your comment. Oh, it looks like our hippo is repositioning himself. Having a scan to see what else is out there. Any cheetah, maybe lions lying in the shade. This would be a perfect spot. So the hide is an incredible concession. So it is a private concession. The only time I've been in this area is probably with researchers moving through. So not allowed to drive in this area if you are a day visitor to the park. And yeah, this watering hole, very busy. Lots of buffalo come down here. They've got cheetah on this concession. I think there's 2 males and a female and her youngster that do roam around this concession. And of course the lions are always moving through here. So lots of incredible wildlife viewing in this area. And yeah, what a cool sighting of these pelicans grooming themselves. Oh, wow, okay, let's have a count of these pelicans. Looks like a lot more pelicans than the other day. I think the other day, Monday, there was only about 9 or 10 pelicans, but let's see if we can have a count. They're obviously done with their fishing for the day, enjoying some afternoon sunshine as they groom themselves. Had an incredible sighting last year, very similar to this in Botswana. We were watching, there were pinkback pelicans as well as these great white pelicans all on an island. We were on a boat cruise and it was so special to just be able to sit there and watch them all grooming themselves for hours. Really see the color on their skins, on their faces there, and also those flaps, their throat pouches, bright yellow. So we have a question here from Dark Main Lover. Is asking, how do birds like raptors teach the chicks how to hunt on, and what is safe to eat? So good question. Raptors, eagles, hawks, falcons, They teach their chicks how to feed, so it's mostly by observation. The chicks will learn by observing the parents, and also they'll learn by what the parents bring them to eat. So they'll recognize different prey species that the parents have brought them to eat, like rodents, birds, reptiles, or in the case of pelicans, fish. They'll recognize what fish are edible. And once they have fledged and grown stronger, then the parents will start to teach the chicks how to eat and how to catch their prey. So it's very much like a mentorship program between the parents and their young, and that's how they teach each other how to feed and what is safe to feed on. So they'll sometimes start with smaller prey, just like predators. Your lions and leopards, they'll start with smaller prey that's easier for them to capture, and then move up into feeding and catching bigger prey. They do gradually learn what to hunt, how to eat, and also how important energy expenditure and managing the different energy that they put into kills. Because often if they don't know that they shouldn't waste their energy on multiple attempts at catching prey that is going to be unsuccessful, they could end up starving themselves. So they need to be they need to be very aware of the energy expenditure and not waste energy on unnecessary kills that might not be fruitful. Just like how baby leopard might try to hunt a big warthog male in a burrow and waste and spend their energy on hunting a kill or prey species that's out of their capability of hunting. So so important that they learn from their parents on how to stalk, how to hunt, what to catch, what is edible, what isn't edible. Just like with antelopes, antelope will learn from their parents. They'll watch their parents while feeding and learn what is able to eat, so they don't eat any noxious plants. Just like with impala, so baby impala will follow the adults and the females, and they'll eat what the parents eat. Same as elephants, they always learn from one generation to the next. Got a small bachelor herd of impala here. Looks like there's some oxpeckers on their back. So it's quite a busy watering hole today. So we've got the hippo out the water, got a small bachelor herd of impala. We have our pelicans, our grey heron that was on a kill. So lots happening here today at the hide in Wangi National Park. Lots of termite mounds. So always keep our eyes peeled for these termite mounds, shady spots, shady trees at this watering hole. Maybe if we're lucky, we'll spot a cheetah or some lions resting in the shade. Doesn't seem like our impala are coming down for too much of a drink. I think these pelicans must have had a pretty successful busy day feeding. Quite large birds, so these pelicans can weigh about 10 to 15 kilograms, so they are amongst some of the heaviest flying birds. We spoke about that interesting color of theirs. I love the pink, the pale pink color on their faces, and yellow throat pouches. They're very social, highly sociable birds. They do nest and feed in large colonies. We spoke about the herons earlier. So what I found is quite cool with the herons and pelicans is a lot of water birds will often nest in colonies together. So it's pretty cool how they nest in all of these colonies. amongst each other. Yeah, it can be very good for their safety and protection. So the larger the colony, the more safety in numbers that they have. So these pelicans would need to consume about 1 to 2 kilograms of fish a day. So that's a fully grown adult great white pelican needs to consume at least 1 to 2 kilograms of fish a day. That's quite a lot of fish if you think about it. But that catfish that our grey heron ate earlier was probably maybe 250 or 300 grams worth of fish. So if they caught 4 or 5 catfish or a couple of bream, tilapia, they might fill their bellies for the day. So they are found in freshwater habitats as well as alkaline lakes, large rivers, estuaries, and seasonal pans. So they do prefer shallow-bodied waters because of the abundance of fish. So that's why they're at this pan, why they're in this area at the moment, is because of the shallow waters that do have an abundance of fish for them to feed on. So these pelicans, speaking about migration, earlier we were speaking about zebra and wildebeest migrations. So these pelicans, they do migrate. They migrate thousands of kilometers. So some birds can cover over 3,000 to 4,000 kilometers during a migration. And pelicans will, just like vultures, they'll often use thermals and soaring flight to conserve energy, just like storks, eagles, and vultures. So we have a question from Debbie. Debbie's asked a question about, would these pelicans survive with damaged beaks? So yes, Debbie, I have seen pelicans with damaged upper parts of their beak or lower parts of their beak that have managed to survive. As long as they're still able to hunt and catch food, I'm sure they would be able to survive. But if the beak is so damaged that maybe if the whole bottom jaw is removed, that they can't actually feed or catch fish, then it would be very difficult for them to hunt and to feed and to eat. So that would make it quite difficult. We had a baboon once. I saw a baboon once that I don't know what happened to this poor baboon. I don't know if he was in a fight or he fell out of a tree and his whole bottom jaw was ripped off. So we were worried this baboon would not manage to survive, but interesting enough, other members of his family group or the troop were helping to get food for him. So he was still able to pick berries, and other members of the troop were also able to try to help to get fruit down from the tree, so he had stayed, because he also was injured, so some of his limbs were a little bit injured. He wasn't able to walk as fast as the rest of the troop, and he really struggled to climb. So yeah, it's interesting how in some social structures of animals, they will help an injured individual in a family group or a social structure. But with antelope, often if an individual is injured so badly to the point that they could attract predators, they might even be shunned from their family group. So like with impala, zebra, in some cases they might actually be kicked out of the group and chased away in order that they don't attract predators. Lots of cool leopard trees. So I do love this area here in Wangi. You get these beautiful camel thorn trees, some nice weaver nests there, white-browed sparrow weaver nests. Our happy hippo, he seems to have a nice little spot in the sunshine. He's caked himself with mud so his skin doesn't get too badly damaged by the sun, and he's having such a nice afternoon nap. Look at him, he looks so happy, doesn't he? Every now and then he seems to just nudge himself or reposition a little bit. It's like a little hippo bed. So this pan, this watering hole, is pumped by this lodge, the hide, so it will keep water throughout the year, which means this hippo is probably safe to stay here. But in other cases, as soon as the water level starts to drop too drastically, these hippos would have to move to other areas with more water. But luckily for some of these hippos in this area, there's lots of lodges that do pump water into the pans, so they may safely remain in their residential watering holes. So Alison has sent through a question. So Alison is asking, won't this hippo's skin get damaged if it's out of the water for too long? So yes, Alison, hippos generally avoid the sun. They don't like to be out in the sunshine too much. They're more a nocturnal creature, so they come out of the water at night to feed, and during the day they normally hide in the water. They are herbivores, they feed on grass at night. But it is a winter's day, and I was talking about earlier how Wangi National Park does have quite cool weathers during the winter, so you can see a little bit of a breeze blowing this water here, so it's probably a nice cool winter's day. But if the hippo did get too hot, he would probably go back into the water. He has protected his skin a little bit with some mud, so acting as a bit of a sunscreen. So perfect example of how thick-skinned animals can use mud as a sunscreen or a protective layer to protect their skin from the sun. So you can see a bit of mud caked on his skin there. This is a big male hippo.
When you wrap,
Alrighty folks, let's head across to El Doño and see what's happening there. So El Doño has been quite a busy location today, I must say. Lots of zebra coming through and elephant bulls. We'll just have a bit of a few quiet moments. It is, what is it today? It is a Thursday afternoon. Always good to just take a bit of a break sometimes, just listen to some wildlife and maybe have some nice yoga, meditative moments and just take in this incredible sea. Just feeling very grateful for the opportunity to be able to soak in this wildlife, to be able to see all these different locations all over Africa from the comfort of our homes. Very grateful to also be warm right now. Often in hides it can be rather chilly, it can be quite cold and nippy sitting in those cold dark hides, so it's also lovely to be in the comfort of your home while we watch these incredible wildlife moments and enjoy these big elephant bulls. So have a look at this elephant bull in the center here. On his one ear he's got quite a few little holes or piercings, little perfect identifying features. So when identifying elephants You often will use their ears and tusks. Those are very good identifying features because every single elephant has a different tusk formation or different tusk angles that their tusk might be positioned, and their ears. So every elephant might have different ears as well. So often their ears, while moving through thick vegetation, might get caught up in acacias, branches, or thorns might rip their ears, or while fighting. So perfect way to identify these elephants. Just like we have one elephant on the left here that is missing a tusk. So his one tusk could have come out during a fight, or you do get tuskless elephants that are born with only one tusk, or no tusks at all. The tuskless female elephants are quite common, but it is common also for elephants to lose their tusks while fighting with other bulls, or while pushing trees down, while debarking trees. So Karen is asking if the poor giraffe have managed to drink yet. Karen, unfortunately I don't think these elephant bulls have gone very far. So I don't know if the poor giraffe have actually had a chance to come down for a drink. So there's 2 or 3 female giraffes that have just wandered off that have been desperate to come for a drink. Oh, you can hear the elephant sucking up some water with his trunk. So we have a question coming through here about Addo. So Anton has sent through a question asking about Addo Elephant National Park. How many of the big 5 does this national park have? And just a bit of information about this reserve. So Addo Elephant National Park is one of the very few protected areas in South Africa where you can find the iconic big 5. So the big 5 are found in Addo Elephant Reserve. So I haven't actually been to Addo yet, but I was having a look the other day at Amakhala. So Addo is not too far from Amakhala. It's probably less than an hour's drive from Amakhala. So if you're in that area, definitely go and check out Addo. I've been to Tembe Elephant Park. It's another incredible park with the big 5. Lots of great birds and birding. So in Addo, it's very common to see lots of elephants. It's iconically known for the elephant species. Between 600 to 700 elephants do roam around this national park. Lions were reintroduced in 2003. They can be seen in the early morning or late evening drives. Obviously Cape buffalo, there's big herds of Cape buffalo. They do have rhino there. They are quite shy, difficult to see, but you can see rhino if you are lucky. And then of course leopard, very elusive and nocturnal, but they are occasionally seen on night drives. So incredible park, great for big 5. So if you're in South Africa, I definitely recommend going to Addo. You've done Kruger National Park, Tembe Elephant Park's a great one, Addo National Park, and then of course why not go and have a safari with Wild Earth and go to Amakhala. Maybe you can hop onto one of Andrew's safaris. There might be a few spots available for a safari with Wild Earth Travel. Incredible opportunities there. So just go and check out our website or Wild Earth Travel if you would like to see what travel opportunities you can join on with Wild Earth. I met one of Cedric's travelers or guests at Valvervonden. And yeah, it was incredible. We had one of his guests that is a huge fan of Wild Earth, and she's actually planning to do all of the Wild Earth locations this year and try to do all of the different destinations that Wild Earth sells. So please head across to info@wildearth.travel or visit our website. You can also scan the QR code on screen now if you would like to visit some of our locations. Yeah, there's a lot of amazing travel opportunities out there waiting for you to enjoy.
Katika mwanga wa mwezi kivuli hutembea, mrembo mweusi anayepotea, macho yake ni taa, gizani huwaka, fuvu la msitu, malkia anayejificha.
At Wild Earth, we believe every story has the power to create change. That's why we've launched the Wild Earth Impact Foundation, a non-profit dedicated to conservation and social impact. By showcasing conservation stories, we can change lives, protect nature, and empower communities. We have partnered with Empowers Africa to accept tax-deductible donations from US donors. Your donation will help fund critical programs that support our mission. Join us and be part of the change.
My name is Takudzwa Panda Msesani. I really want to film an artwork, and it has been my goal. I'll be just keeping my eyes open. The worst driver is Jen. He's driving. Yeah, you gotta be holding on back in there, like in bumps, and I mean it happens when these things happens when you're actually going for animals usually. But then, yeah, he's driving. Yeah, you gotta put your seatbelt.
Welcome to Safari Spotlight. We'll be
And you pretend like you're a serviceman, eh?
Got no idea what's going on this reserve. Expecting the unexpected.
Are we stuck down there?
What am I trying to do?
So we have another giant of Mabula. That was incredible.
This is unbelievable.
It's going to be a spectacular afternoon.
Out here, every wild moment counts, and as a Wild Earth explorer, you won't miss a thing.
Incredible.
Watch the Wild Earth channel ad-free 24/7 and rewind if you want to catch something again. Enjoy behind-the-scenes videos, fireside chats, and early access to travel offers. The best way to stay connected and be part of the Wild Earth family.
Got a little Cape wagtail that's also, I can hear it calling. It's probably somewhere around the watering hole. You often have the little Cape wagtails bouncing around. We've still not got a confirmed sighting on our little agama. We're having a look for our agama that normally hangs out at the edge of this screen here. I have a question coming from Tracy. So Tracy's asking a question. Do female elephants fight with each other? So yes, Tracy, female elephants can also be quite temperamental. Not as temperamental as elephant bulls. Elephant bulls, obviously, with all that testosterone, they've got a lot to prove. A lot of energy to waste on fighting with one another. But elephant cows can also be just as aggressive. especially when protecting their youngsters. And if they have a little baby elephant that gets stuck in a trough or a waterhole, often that's when there'll be a lot of commotion, a lot of squealing and screaming while the females are trying to get their baby out of the waterhole. So yes, female elephants, very protective, and that's when they can spend some time fighting with one another. Matriarchs might also put some younger elephants into their place and fight with youngsters that might be disobeying or disrespecting their elders. So yeah, very much following that hierarchical chain of command with adults. The oldest females need to be respected from the younger, so discipline is very important in the elephant kingdom. The matriarchs and older bulls will put the younger bulls and younger individuals into place in that social hierarchy. So it's a very good discipline structure that they have. You can hear that white-bellied go-away bird calling again. I'd like if they came to visit, came to see us. Wildlife lady, I agree with you there. It is such a privilege being able to see these magnificent elephant bulls at this watering hole. Just seeing them interacting with each other is, yeah, so special. Oh, there's still another elephant bull hanging around. Well, let's head across to Mawela, folks, and see what's happening with all the zebra in Botswana. So we've still got a multitude of zebra, massive herds coming through here. So this is lots of small micro herds of zebra that are joining one huge migration entourage, should we say. And we've got a few vulture that are still on the ground on the left-hand side of the screen here that we're feeding on the dead carcass of that wildebeest female that passed away last night. Quite difficult to speak right now. There's so much happening here. Lots of zebra vocalizing. Just as there is a lot of commotion with elephants when lots of elephants congregate and meet in one area, I feel like zebra can be quite feisty too. So lots of interactions, lots of fighting, lots of biting, and lots of kicking that goes on with these zebra. They don't always play so nice. At Oldonio just now we had two male zebra fighting, and one male zebra actually grabbed the other male from his Achilles tendon on his leg there. It looked like, yeah, he had him in a bit of a deathlock. He was not able to move, so yeah, the zebra can be quite nasty. I just heard a helmeted guinea fowl calling. There must be hundreds of zebra that are all congregating in this area, so they'll be moving through, feeding, have a drink. Sometimes they'll spend quite a lot of time here before they move on to the next area. They don't know where they're going to find their next water. Hear those helmeted guinea fowls calling there. I love the sound of helmeted guinea fowl when you're in a camp late afternoon. Helmeted guinea fowl always seem to like to close the day. They'll be playing around, dust bathing, like naughty little children playing in the sand before it gets dark.
Now this leopard that we're looking at is known by the name of Hlalamba.
What does it take to handle the wild? Balance. Determination. Focus.
Yaku!
And gear that can take a beating so you don't have to.
Full name is Maxine Gaines. Most people that know me really well call me Max. I'm a mum. I have two boys. One is 16 years old and one is 14 years old. I'm a very, very proud mama of my two boys. I've just always been passionate about leopards. I'm passionate about their conservation. I'm just passionate about everything to do with leopards. I love them.
Species in the Serengeti, and then from May to June they move north through western corridors, and July to September that's when they cross into the Masai Mara for the famous river crossing with the crocodiles that will be capturing any unsuspecting prey or zebra, wildebeest as they're crossing those rivers. Isn't that crossing crazy to witness that crossing of the Masai Mara? So Wildlife Lady is saying that this location here, Mawela, is becoming one of my favorite watering holes, and I agree with you there, Wildlife Lady. I do love all the zebra. It is just definitely a zebra overload. There's so much happening, comings and goings of so many zebra. So we have a comment coming through from Juliet. So Juliet enjoys the privilege of having and being able to sit in the comfort of your lounge in South England and watch all these magnificent animals living in Africa. So Juliet, it is such a privilege to be in the comfort of our homes watching these incredible wildlife views in different parts of Africa. I hope it is not too cold in England at the moment. Yeah, it's definitely a chilly day here in Zimbabwe. I think it's about 18 to 25 degrees today. I'm still a bit chilly with, yeah, it's a bit windy today. So you get those windy days in southern Africa during the winter. So winter windy days that, yeah, can be a little bit cold. I guess it's great viewing for those hippos. So we've seen lots of hippos out the water today. Some at Camelthorn, big male, grumpy male hippo at the Hyde. And yeah, if it wasn't for this cold winter weather, those hippos would not be out of the water. It would definitely be way too hot for them to be out of the water. I'm hoping for some activity. I'd love to see a kill here. I know we had some vultures at the beginning of the show on the dead wildebeest, but yeah, it would be epic to see a lion just come out of nowhere and make a kill here. A bit sad for the animals that lose their life, but yeah, all these animals and lions do have little ones they need to feed as well. So yeah, it'd be a pretty cool sighting, I think. Watch a live kill on Wild Earth. I don't think I've seen any live kills on Wild Earth, but that would be awesome. Live at the waterhole live kill would be amazing. If any of our viewers have ever watched a live kill at Live at the Waterhole, yeah, I'd love to hear what animal was killed and what predator was involved in the killing. I've seen lions at Tembe, cheetah in Namibia, but yeah, I've never seen a predator actually making a kill here on Live at the Waterhole. So folks, thank you for your comments. Wildlife Lady has enjoyed the show today. Deb D, great to have you joining us, and I will enjoy my ponies. Thank you for joining us, folks. It has been a great day here live at the Waterhole. I will see you next week live at the Waterhole, but I hope you all have a fabulous weekend. It has been such a pleasure being with you today, and yeah, happy Thirsty Thursday.
Welcome to Safari Spotlight. We're heading on a journey through some of South Africa's loveliest nature havens. We'll discover some interesting fauna and flora while being astounded by Africa's beauty. Our locations are unique and diverse, with jaw-dropping landscapes and fascinating wildlife. At the cutting edge of conservation and ecotourism. If you like what you see,